Hello, good evening, good evening, good evening to another episode of Sofa Chat. All right. So, I gotta let you guys know, like we do every episode, everything that we share on Sofa Chat is solely the experience and the shared opinion of the individual. We do not endorse, we do not support any company, organization, or any product, but we definitely appreciate a sponsorship or a donation, which can be done at $ Sofa Chat. That's our Cash App. But we also definitely want to take the time to, this being our second to last episode, guys. Let that soak in. Like, we started in March and we are almost at the end of July. We've had some amazing, amazing guests on the show. Um, we've brought you guys some education, some linkage to care, um, health, wellness, events, Pride Month. We've brought you elected officials and gotten a little behind the scenes of like what they do, and that they're really just like us. They're a lot of them, especially now, elected officials. They're in roles and they're willing to listen and be a voice for a change. So that's refreshing. Sofa Chat has gotten the opportunity to interview some really awesome people. So we thank you all for being guests on Sofa Chat, especially our guest that we're going to have on this evening. That's another jam. This is another jam-packed episode, you guys. We're not bringing them on yet, but they're included in that circle of who are now Sofa Chat family. They're no longer guests on the show. They're family. And that's how it happens on Sofa Chat. You become family. We also have to take the time to thank our amazing sponsors. So we have for next Sunday's show, which will be a 2-hour presentation. Yes, that is 2 hours. We will be on from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. live in studio at the Wow Cafe Theater. We will be definitely putting up the information in the chat with the link on how you can be an in-studio audience. But we have to thank our sponsors. Our first sponsor that stepped up and said, like, we're here, but they're always there. They're always the first ones to say that, especially with Double Up Productions, who also produce several other events besides Sofa Chat. They're always there to support us, and that's Amita Care. Amita Care definitely stepped up and said, we're here, we're ready. We want to educate just like you do. And we believe in the mission and the vision of Sofa Chat. So thank you to Amita Care. We also want to thank the HIV Stops With Me campaign, who are definitely always in the building. I am very fortunate enough to be one of the spokesmodels on the HIV Stops With Me campaign, along with our guest this evening. So we'll dive into that topic too. As siblings of the same spokesmodel, we'll be able to chat about that. We also want to thank Argus Community Health. They definitely stepped up and not only said that we want to participate, but they are also providing the testing for the event. So we thank them for stepping up and doing that for us. They will be there with a mobile unit. Also, we have an exclusive jewelry vendor. She is a, what is it? Oh my goodness, consultant for Paparazzi Jewelry. So she will be bringing her glitz and her glam overall to our events. All of the jewelry is $5. I'm sure there'll be other pieces that'll be a little more pricey because they're bigger pieces, but for the most part, they're all reasonably priced jewelry. So definitely come out and support, get some information, get to know the guests that'll be on the panel. To give you guys a little back information, now that we're a week out from our last show for season 2, we will be speaking. Our first segment will be with none other than a representative from Amita Care. I, as well as my husband, who is the co-producer of Sofa Chat, have the wonderful support of Amita Care with everything we do. So we will have the opportunity to speak one-on-one for a nice little chat on the couch for sofa chat. Um, then we will flow into another segment because we have the wonderful opportunity. And I'm not going to release their info until we release all of the flyers and stuff tomorrow. But we have a wonderful recording artist that will be closing out the show for Sofa Chat next weekend and next Sunday. And they'll be debuting their new hit single. So that's amazing. We'll be sitting on the couch with them and chatting it up about, their successes and, the trials and the tribulations of what it takes to be a recording artist, especially within this, this industry. We will also be having a wonderful chat with none other than some of the HIV Stops With Me spokesmodels from previous Sofa Chat episodes, as well as some that might be coming in to surprise us. Well, maybe not us, you guys, because of course we have to know as producers of the show, my husband and myself, but we'll definitely be surprising you guys with some of those guests. And we'll be closing out the last panel with nothing but giving you guys a variety from the pageantry circuit. I think it's very, very important for my husband and myself to share that, because that's something that we are a part of. And we want to bring you guys kind of like a variety, let you guys know that it's a very diverse industry. We all strive for different things, but at the end of the day, our mission and our visions are always to excel, not just the system, but also, our our platforms. And a lot of our platforms are on, things that are relevant right now, housing, healthcare, access to care, linkage to care, not just that, but also um, culturally competent medical providers, raising awareness of the poverty that we go through, the food insecurities. We had the wonderful opportunity of having the Bronx Borough president on our show last weekend, last Sunday. And, she shared a lot of her platforms and a lot of what she's working towards to better the Bronx, and as being, she's not only the 14th Bronx Borough president, she is the first female Bronx Borough president, as well as the first woman of color to sit in that position, in that seat. So, she's definitely put in the work even before she was elected as our Bronx Borough president. So there's a lot. There's a lot that we within the pageantry circuit, strive to bring awareness to. So we have a lot of different pageantry circuits coming to join us, and I won't spoil it because you have to tune in next Sunday for that one. Just like you got to tune in for everybody, every single guest, because we're not releasing the guests. You have to come and attend, or if not, log in. Seats are limited. So like I said, a matter of fact, while I'm talking to you guys, I'm going to put it in the chat, right? Because you guys got to get your tickets. You guys have to get your tickets. There is the link to become an in-studio audience member for Sofa Chat. The seats are limited, so we need you guys to reserve your tickets, because if not, the only other way to participate is going to be through a live stream, which we're always welcoming you guys to be live streamed, but you're gonna miss out on all of the good giveaways. There's raffles, there's giveaways, and I know we have not spoken about the Just Lay Slay Challenge. So we have some close winners. If you want to be that winner, I think you just need to compete. I think you need to find Just Lay slaying the HIV campaign and snap a selfie with her. And we've given you some little helpful secrets, like you can go online to the HIVstopswithme.org website, play the video, pause it, take a quick picture, like, oh, I'm with Just Slay, and she's slaying, and we're slaying HIV together, right? And email it over to Sofa Chat. That's SOFACHAT gmail.com. And you can be in the running to be the winner for the Just Slay Challenge. So you guys, we chit chat and get, all warmed up and ready for sofa chat, right? And with 10 minutes in, and like we do 10 minutes into every program, we want to take the time to meet our special guest for the show this evening. Because I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to dive in and find out what's up, and a little bit about, our guest this evening, right? So we have the wonderful opportunity to welcome one of the HIV Stops With Me spokesmodels. Not only is he a spokesmodel, but he has other hats that he wears. And I'm not going to yuck his yum by sharing them with you because that's going to be part of our conversation this evening, right? But what I want to let you guys know is just like a lot of us spokesmodels, this individual has a story. He's has a journey that he's been through. And I recommend that all of you please share the live, but also share your comments, ask questions. Also be respectful of your questions. You understand? Because we all have feelings, but ask your questions because that's the only way we'll get to know each other and you'll get to know our guests, right? But without further ado, I want to take the opportunity to thank our guest this evening, none other than my one of my siblings, one of my brothers, because now he's one of my brothers, on the HIV Stops With Me campaign, none other than Victwan. So Victwan, you gotta unmute because you're still on mute.
All Hello. Right.
There you go. So welcome, welcome.
You got me over here blushing. Thank you for having me on Sofa Chat. I really appreciate it. I'm very glad to be here.
No, of course. Well, I know it's been, we've been playing tag. So Victwan and I have been trying to do this for like about a month and a half already. And like, between Pride Month coming and, a lot of the bookings that, we've had the opportunity to be at, some of the shows have had to be postponed and some of us, some of the shows we took live, but we finally made it. We made this work because ideally it's important, we've gotten the opportunity all season to share different stories from different spokesmodels that have, definitely come onto the show to be a part. And when, Victwan and I started talking and I let him know about Sofa Chat and, he reached out, it wasn't something that we had to think about. It was more like we just had to schedule the time, and like you're very welcome for giving you the invite, but also thank you for taking the invite and engaging with us, because I think that each of us, not just on the campaign, but everybody in life, every individual, every human being has a story to tell and something to share. And I feel like there's always reasons why we engage in conversations and we unite with each other, but that I've been given the opportunity to have a platform like this. I don't want to keep it selfish. I want to be able to share with everybody. We all get to know Victwan and stuff like that. While sometimes, Leilani, she got the Ralph Cramden syndrome. She talk a lot. So I sometimes got to keep it back. But so before I overpopulate this conversation, Victwan, let's start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit without too much. About who you are and how was it growing up as a young man?
Oh, okay. Well, I was born in 1977, so I'm 45 years old. I'm the youngest of 13 kids. I grew up with 5 older brothers in the projects in Queens. Single mom, very strong. She struggled. She wasn't perfect, but we learned a lot as a family through her imperfections. We struggled with homelessness as a family. We struggled with food insecurity. But she always found a way. We were part of a large family. And, we lived in New York, but we're from the South. So, how Southern folk are, we take care of each other. So if I'm struggling, you struggling, we struggling. So it wasn't I didn't feel like I grew up rich. I knew I grew up financially poor, but I grew up rich in the family that I had and the love that I received. So it could have been better, but it could have been definitely worse. I definitely heard horror stories that my life doesn't compare to. I was loved by a mom who didn't like the fact that I was gay, but loved and respected and accepted me my entire life. So I I think I'm blessed constantly. I struggle. I struggle with a lot, but through it all, I know that I'm constantly blessed.
So you give me the opportunity and like the segue, right, to dive into like I guess my first question, which hearing what you just shared, I think what sticks out to me is that, you say you struggle, right? Even though, you didn't feel like you grew up poor because, you grew up with insecurities, but at least, you grew up loved. In that area you there was no insecurity in that area. You were very loved, right?
Yeah.
But you said you struggled. Can you kind of share with our viewers like where did your struggle begin?
Well, my struggle. Uh, which struggle?
Hey,
That's
wherever you want to start.
which struggle do you want to talk about? I'll keep it on working with my family through I guess my homosexuality. So I have an older brother who is also gay, but he didn't always live that way, and he has three kids, and my family struggled with him coming out. So when he came out, it kind of gave me a litmus test about what I might have to deal with when I came out. So I learned about advocacy early on. I knew that I had to advocate for my brother because at some point I was going to have to tell them that I was gay. So I wanted to pave the way for myself, so to speak. Uh, but it started there. Like, my fam, if you meet any of my brothers, like, I'm the softest one. Like, even my brother who is bi, like, I'm the softest one. So it's like they're all like rah rah hood masculine. No disrespect, brother. I love you all. It's not a insult, but it is what it is. Like if you see us all together, I stick out. So and it's always been that way to a degree. So I struggled with coming out because I always kind of felt like even though I was loved specifically by my mom, I kind of felt like I struggled with the affection of my brothers.
So,
Or hmm?
no, go ahead.
No, or because they weren't affectionate. So it's like I got all my affection from my mom. We were very close. So that was my first struggle. My first struggle was coming out to my family and dealing with that. Like one of my brothers, I had to actually have a coming out party so that I would feel safe enough to tell him that I was gay. And he was so offended by that. He was like, I would never hurt you. I was like, yeah, but I didn't know that. And I tell people, especially those people in the closet, to come on out because you don't know what it's like on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
When I came out, all of the people that I thought were going to freak out about me being gay were so cool with it. And the people that I thought were going to be cool with it had problems. It just is really weird how our minds twist things up.
It really is. You know, it's not just that, but I guess growing up, because you and I have kind of some similarities, like listening to just what you shared, we have some similarities, which is ideally we grew up and we have siblings that identified as part of also the LGBTQ plus, umbrella, or identity. And that remember I told you some of my questions are basic, but it might lead me in other direction, and it leads me to ask you like how ideally you shared some of the things, and ideally your fear of you know sharing sharing who you were and how you identify with one of your siblings. But how has it been since sharing with your siblings and your family, especially with your siblings that identify as part of the LGBTQ identity? How has your relationship been with them?
I would say supportive, loving, caring. Um, I love you person, so I don't care where we are, you know, who's looking. If I love you, I'm gonna tell you I love you. So I do that with my brothers, and I could tell in the beginning it was very uncomfortable for them. Uh, but now I don't know how long I've been doing it, but at in 2022, there's no hesitation in them telling me they love me back or saying something like "I love you more." It hasn't always been that way. It was a process
Mhm.
for some of them to accept me. Like, for example, my brother who's also gay, we didn't get along. We didn't I didn't have when you hear that somebody has a gay sibling, you think, oh, that's your you have support. That's great.
Mhm.
We did not get along. So I didn't have that. I didn't have someone to guide me along in how to be gay, what gay is, or you know what I should and shouldn't be doing, where I should and shouldn't be going. And I resented him a long time for that. But I now recognize that he's only 4 years older than me.
Mm,
He was struggling too.
yeah.
And when you're that young struggling, I'm sorry, sometimes you can't look out for the next guy. You have to look
Mhm.
out for you. And I respect that now. And I love him. And I was just over at his house in Philly yesterday, hanging out, kicking, acting the fool. Uh, yeah, things have definitely evolved with my brothers.
That's
And even on
good.
my father's side of the family, I have sisters on my father's side of the family, brothers and sisters, and we recently reconnected. And they know my status, they know I'm gay, they know I'm a part of the campaign. So I was nervous about telling them or exposing that part of my life to them because we haven't been close.
Mhm.
But the response has been amazing and beautiful. Like I constantly say I'm blessed.
So that before I segue into the next question, which you allow me to lead into, um, I want to thank all of our viewers that are currently logged in, that continue to share and be a part of the conversation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to Grace. Thank you to Michelle. Thank you to Everlasting. Thank you to Javon. And also, please, if you are also available, definitely, and I'm going to say this throughout the entire live stream, request your tickets. The link is there. Please request your tickets to be an in studio audience member if you are available. But that allows me to segue into, I guess, my next question, which is, yeah, before I go into that, I'm going to go into another one, which is, how was the conversation of your diagnosis, your status with your family? What was their response?
I kind of have to go back with that because what I learned about myself and my love for my mom and my family during the process of coming out as being gay
Mhm.
was as long as I had my mom, I didn't really give a can I curse? I really didn't care
Yeah, you can.
about well, I really
No
didn't
way.
care about what anybody else thought. Um, she was my rock, and as long as I had her, I could deal with anybody else having a problem with it. So I found that out with me telling her that I was gay, and we both cried because it's not a life that she would have chosen for me or a life that I would have chosen for myself. Like I never believed that gay was an option. It's just who I am. And if I could have chosen to be something else, because I'm an easier path kind of person, and we all know straight is a little easier in this world. So I would have definitely taken that path. But when it came to uh, telling my family about my status, it my focus was my mom. How was she going to react? What was she going to say? And before I say anything else, let me just put out there: my mom worked as a dietary aide at a hospital in Jamaica, Queens. But in my mind, that's my mom. She don't know nothing about HIV. She don't know nothing about that. So when I got diagnosed, I started getting services at a program, and they would have magazines and little uh, pieces of information about HIV, status and how you can get it, like the Pause magazine.
Mhm.
And I didn't live with my mom at the time, so I used to go visit her a couple of times a week and cook for her. So on my visits, I would go after I would go to programs. So I would take some of those books and kind of leave them dispersed around the house, maybe in the bathroom or whatever. So I did that for like 3 or 4 months. And when I finally decided to sit down and tell her that, I was HIV positive, she looked at me and said, boy, I thought you was going to tell me you had cancer. So what's your numbers looking like? What medication are you on? It just blew my mind because I did not expect those questions from her. She was so well informed. Even though I had set it up for that, she was so well informed. And it it soothed my heart. Everything that made me nervous about that conversation with anybody else just melted away. And so after that, I just kind of threw it in conversations with family and friends. I didn't like have a special conversation to tell somebody that I was HIV positive, but I would kind of mention it if the topic came up.
So that leads me then to ask, when joining the campaign, the HIV Stops With Me campaign, were there any family members that you had not shared the information of your status with?
Yes.
How was their response?
Oh, they were. Well, there wasn't. Some people found out through Facebook, and I would say mainly my father's side of the family. Some of my extended family on my mother's side may not have known because, like I said, it's not like I made an announcement or, um, you know, had specific conversations with, or you have to know. My thing was with that whole process was, I'm not gonna lie about it. I'm not gonna hide about it. But everybody doesn't need to know. And if you ask me and we talk about it, we can have a conversation about it. But I'm not making special phone calls just to tell you that I'm HIV positive. And when I put it on Facebook, the response wasn't like, nobody even really responded to the fact that it had anything to do with being HIV positive. They were just very congratulatory about the campaign. There's no way thinking you can know that I'm in the HIV Stops With Me campaign and not realize that I'm HIV positive. But nobody said anything like, "Oh my God, I didn't know you were positive."
And that was what I was getting to. I was wondering if you got that response, like I didn't know, like you were positive, but also, I've spoken to many people, and one of my experiences has been with some family members that it's like in the beginning when I shared the information via social media and like them seeing campaigns and pictures, it was more of a, oh my goodness, like how are you? How are you feeling? How's everything? And I'm just like, you ain't called me in like 2 years. Like what? I'm fine. I'm just the same way I was last month when I was on live, and you know, I'm fine. So it's funny, like I like our viewers to get the opportunity to hear, the different experiences that we have with, our different upbringings and our family members, because it's so diverse, just like the campaign, we're a diverse group of individuals, right? So throughout your journey, um, of your coming out and sharing your gender identity, or not so much your sexual identity, but also sharing your status with your family, right? I want to transition a little bit into kind of like the work you do now.
Okay.
So into healthcare, like I want to, kind of piggyback back and forth because everything kind of, I feel like everything marries into each other. So, kind of coming into what you do now, the work that you do now, can you share with our viewers what it is that you do in the healthcare industry?
I wear a few hats. We'll say that. Well, my full time job, my 9 to 5, so to speak, I work for Medicare. I'm the supervisor of peer programs, and in that role, I supervise all the programs that have anything to do with peers in it. So I work with the peers, and we have several programs that work with peer workers or utilize peer workers to complete the work, and I supervise them in whatever capacity that may be. Uh, I'm also on the certification and review board for peer certification here in New York State through AI and Stony Brook University. And I also sit on the HIV advisory body, which advises the AIDS Institute on funding initiatives and funding initiatives throughout the state. I'm trying to think if there's any. And last but not least, which I always forget, I am a spokesmodel with the HIV Stops With Me campaign.
It's okay. When
I'm
you
weird
wear
about
many
that.
hats, sometimes you have so many on that it's like, wait, which one do I utilize now? It's like, you know what? Listen, I'm not gonna give you a hat. You see, I ain't got no hat on. What do you need help with? Period. Like, what do you need help with? I might have the resource, and if I don't, I have somebody that I know that has the resource, right?
Well, I am kind of working on doing an event in September, but I'll email you because I don't have the specifics. I'm trying to work
Okay.
with the Medicare. They're already on board. You know, Medicare is on board.
Yeah.
When I joined the campaign, I found out quickly that I was late to the table. That Lay had already been working with the Medicare for years, and they love you. Every time I go over there, when I went to that department, the first thing I saw was a picture of Lay. Just right there. Now, where's yours, Vic? And now I have Jeffrey working with us, so they're going to support both me, you, and Jeffrey, and whatever it is we try to do. So I'm trying to do an event. I can't remember the exact date, but I want to say it's uh, Gay Men's HIV Awareness Day in September. I think it's 20 something, 22nd. So I would definitely reach out to you about that because I'm certain you can help me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then even though, Sofa Chat will be ending its season for its live streams next Sunday, we still have our social media platforms and, we'll still be posting and sharing things. So feel free to send it over because then we'll definitely share it on the social media platform so that everybody can, get access to it and get access to the information.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely do that. But yeah, those are my hats. I love them all, but I don't know if I can keep doing them all. Especially since most of them are free. Like other than my full-time job, everything else is pretty much free.
So what actually drew your passion into doing I guess not so much just advocacy work, but peer advocacy work?
Well, I never thought like this is not a career I ever thought I would be in. Like before I had HIV, I hadn't planned on it. I didn't think I was interested in the healthcare field at all. But when I got to the point where I was effectively managing my HIV, my mental illness, I had gotten my housing situation under control. When I got stable, I found that I had knowledge and skills that helped other people to get stable. So I found myself in my own time before I ever knew anything about what a peer worker was.
Mm-hmm.
I found in my own time I was going with people to their doctor's appointments, advocating for them with HASA, telling them what they might want to say and who they need to talk to. And people had saw me doing this and told me I can get paid to do it. And I was like, well, that's fine. I'm already doing it anyway. I'm doing it for fun, so I might as well get paid for it. And it just started there. I did that for a couple of years. And then I was recruited by Medicare to come work for them as a peer worker. And back then, in my mind, like Medicare is the BMW of peer work opportunities. They paid very well. The work was, in my opinion, comparative to some of the other work that was out there, was not very hard. We were doing home visits, knocking on doors, acclimating people to the plan. It was very simple and easy for me. The hardest part was the traveling, because the members were just a joy. Like I love talking to people. I love just interacting with people. And if they're actually interested in what I'm providing, then I enjoy doing it. I hate forcing myself on anyone. And in that position, I was given the opportunity to help people who wanted to help. So fast forward, I found out that there was a certification for peers doing the work that I had already been doing for probably about 5 years. And I had already elevated out of a peer position, but I wanted the certification to kind of validate the work that I had already done for 5 years. And I also threw my support behind the certification because I recognized, having done the work for so long, how important it was to all the work that we do. No matter which way you approach it, Peer
Mm-hmm.
workers provide something that no one else at any facility can provide. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to make, I felt that people who did that kind of work were special. Not because I did it, but because I had done it, I saw how hard it could be, how giving you have to be in order to do it. So I wanted to do my best, and I still do my best to try to support people who decide that after they've gotten healthy and they could just sit at home and live on benefits, they say, no, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to take what I know and I'm going to help somebody else. And I felt it important, and I feel that it's important that we give as much support as possible to people doing that kind of work.
Absolutely. I mean, I, I don't. I feel a little biased because I'm a peer worker. Like I'm working towards my peer certification, but I've been doing this work for years. Ideally, especially the advocacy work. By you sharing your story and your experience and the work you do as a peer, it's so awesome because it gives our viewers the opportunity to see that. And this is kind of what my conversation is with a lot of individuals when I engage with them, whether it be the patients, whether it be members within the community, whether it be at events, is we are all advocates. You just may not know it because we're all advocating for something at some point in time in our lives. And but also letting our viewers know that even though we're advocates and we do this work that we do, we are all human beings and we might have a toolbox full of all of these tools for us to do, right? And how to help ourselves through situations and like experiences. But the fact of the matter is that if we don't take care of ourselves and do some self help and some self care, our lids, as it's demonstrated in some of the trainings that we take, our lids fly off. It's like literally like your cap flying off of your head. Your lids fly off. We're all human. When you feel like you're not being heard, when you feel like the work that you're doing is not being seen, when you're working, the passion that you have in you is not acknowledged. Where I'm not talking about acknowledged in the sense of like I need this kind of award, this kind of acclamation of something, but more on the work that I'm doing is not being acknowledged for the service that I'm providing.
You know what
Like you
I
need
advocate?
some.
You know what I advocate about acknowledging me and my work? Pay me.
See,
I don't need an award. Show
it's
me that
true.
my work is valued by paying. I advocate for that for everybody. Advocate for your pay. And I love human resources department. I'm probably gonna get things for this, but like their job is to work the budget.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Technically, they're not trying to really offer you what you know you worth, but you need to know what you're worth and demand it.
Mhm.
You know,
And just because you say no to an opportunity doesn't mean that it's the ends of the road. I want our viewers to take that. When you get a no from an opportunity that you want or that you feel that it's for you, and you get that no, don't take it as a no, it's not, you're not good enough, you can't do this. Take that no as, you know what, no, this is not a good fit for you and I. But guess what? When you walk out that door, it might not be the next hour, the next day. It might take a day or two or three a week, but there's another opportunity that's going to open up for you. And when that opportunity opens up, it makes you feel so amazing that you can get up every day and go to work, that you can get up every day and service the individuals that you want to service. As you can hear from Victwan, he shared that, his most, awesome thing as part of the work that he does is engaging with individuals and having conversations. That's not an issue for him. And that's a really good attribute, especially for us peers, our lived experience for us to have. It's sharing our lived experience, engaging in conversations. I want to continue to thank our viewers for chiming in and making comments and sharing with us. I hope they take the time, if they're available, to request their ticket to be an in studio live audience member. um but
now let me just I hate to cut you off, but let me just say something
no, go
about
ahead.
that no. Learn something from it. You know, I'm not on here just to pick up a Medicare, but I love my company. They're really good at what they do. They're awesome, and I wouldn't have been with them for 10 years if it wasn't worth it. Uh, I had applied for a promotion at a Medicare and was promptly told no, and I was devastated. But what I loved about a Medicare is they don't just tell you no; they tell you why. They tell you what you can do so that the next time that very same position becomes available, you can get it.
Mm.
So I did that. I did the things they said I needed to work on. And when the position became available 6 months later, I applied and was promptly told yes. You know what I'm saying? So if you can, take every opportunity to learn from every no you get, because you can utilize that information to get the next yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I guess I want to lighten it up a little bit and ask you, how has it been being a spokesmodel on the campaign, the HIV Stops With Me campaign? Because you see, before you share that, right? So just to share with you viewers, right? Now, I feel like, oh my goodness, I feel like some of my friends that talk like this, they'd be like, picture it, 1986, Sicily,
Silly.
right? Oh my goodness, like the Golden Girls. But anywho, we before the pandemic, we would get together as campaign spokesmodels and do what we do, our training. But throughout that training, we take our images that are used for promotional purposes to bring awareness to what it is to be, HIV positive and everything that the elements of being part of the campaign takes, right? Commercials, all of that stuff, so that we can bring awareness, and break stigmas and a lot of other things. But because of the pandemic, the first time around, we had to do things different. This year, for this campaign, when we did it, we got the opportunity to kind of be with each other, but not so much because it was like scheduled slots. So it was like somebody's coming in and somebody's going out. But we got the opportunity to at least like have conversations in passing. And it happens to be that Vic and I were like right before and after each other. So it was really cool. We got the opportunity to chat. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to give our viewers that little bit of insight, like how we met, especially being spokesmodels on the campaign. So that, like I said, that leads me into my question, which is, how has it been being a spokesmodel on the campaign?
It's been interesting, a new kind of experience for me. When I was asked to do it, I'm not a model. I'm like, dude, I'm not like, what do you mean, spokesmodel? Are you talking about pictures? No, I'm not. I'm not a model. I'll come and speak at whatever you want me to come and speak at, but why we got to do pictures and all that? But Tyrone Tyrone is the spokesmodel that told me about the campaign and kind of suggested that I would be a good fit for it. Um, I'm learning some interesting things. It's not what I expected. It's been an experience. I One of the reasons I joined the campaign was to kind of after the pandemic for the last 2 years, I really learned to isolate myself. So
Mm-hmm.
part of me joining the campaign was an excuse to get out and do more, because I had slowly pulled back from doing a lot of things, especially live events and being in person. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to do more of that. Uh, COVID is still here, so it hasn't been a lot of stuff. My most active month was June, Gay Pride. Amita Care does things everywhere, so I just hitched my wagon I hitched myself to their wagon, and everywhere Amita Care was, I was right. They gave me a little corner of their table, and I had my posters there, and I'll be there with Amita Care. So I was pretty busy in June. It was a great month. Prior to that, I had done some initiatives with Medicare on their website. We did, I don't remember which month, but I want to say March. Uh, Mental Health Awareness Day. They interviewed me and put something on. So it's been interesting. It's been interesting. I plan on doing more moving forward now that I have a better understanding of how the campaign is run and what is expected of me.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I will say is I know that because I'm doing so much, I have not prioritized the campaign the way I could have over the last 6 months. I've honestly just had a lot of other things that for lack of a better term, were more important to take
Mm-hmm.
care of in the moment. Um, but I really believe in what the campaign stands for. I really like what the campaign does. I love the opportunity it provides, not just to the individual spokesmodels who are in the campaign, but to the communities that they represent and the communities that they present in. It's a great opportunity. Just the website alone, I think, is a great thing for like a doctor's office that people are finding out that they are newly positive.
Yeah.
You have at least 21 different stories of people telling how they became positive, what their experiences is. Someone new is going to connect to one of those stories.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a great resource. If that's all the campaign was, I would support it. But it's so much more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited. I think this last half of my year, I'll be more active, doing more stuff, more involved with the other models and their events. I definitely plan on being there next Sunday for Sofa Chat and live. I'm gonna do whatever COVID policy you got. I know I didn't do it for the day, but I'm gonna do whatever you tell us I got to do so I can be there live on Sunday and represent for the campaign. But yes, I think it's been for me in a unique way that I work. I think it's been a great experience, and I think it only get better.
Absolutely. And just to give our viewers a little, insight. But before I do, I just put up the link again. So if any of our viewers would like to be in studio audience members for Sofa Chat, please definitely click on the link and follow the link and request your tickets. Um, but a little insight of like what Victwan was saying about the campaign, about the HIV Stops With Me campaign. It not only is a campaign of 24 diverse individuals, but we are all of different backgrounds, ethnicities, gender identities, sexual orientations. Um, so it gives you a very fluid opportunity to see how everybody experiences their journey of living with HIV, what we go through, our ups and our downs. We each have a question of the month, so you can either go online to the website and sign up to receive the newsletter, or you can go on YouTube, or you can follow some of us spokesmodels. We share them on our on our social media pages and stuff. But it gives you that opportunity to see that we're all thriving, surviving, and as this campaign year says, we are slaying HIV. We're not perfect. We go through our ups and downs. There is no cookie cutter mold of what HIV looks like. It's very unfortunate that the stigma that is associated with HIV and AIDS is from the beginning of the epidemic, when there was no access to care, no treatment, no, compassion for individuals living with HIV, but things have changed. Yes, there are still individuals that are, let's be very frank, that are ignorant, that have very little to no knowledge or want to be educated on, the advancements of what it is to live with HIV and the, medications that have come a long way. But that's what we're all here for. We're all here to show you guys that it's possible. It's possible to live with HIV. It's possible, to thrive and survive. It's possible to work for a managed care program while still living your authentic self and, receiving support. I sometimes my husband and I say that we're a little biased because, like we've been members of Amita Care for so long already. But Amita Care is one of the very first managed care programs, especially special needs programs, that have actually been willing to invite us members, because we don't work for Amita Care, we're members, as members, to sit at the table and say, well, hey, listen, what needs to be done? What are you guys experiencing and how can we help you? And that part of the conversation we're going to have next week on Sunday. Will Victwan be on the sofa? Maybe. Maybe he'll be joined by somebody else on the sofa. You're going to have to tune in and watch. But we're going to leave that one in a pin. We're going to put a pin in that one. So we got like 10 minutes left to the show, right? I guess the last pressing thing that I wanted to ask you, and it's kind of just real simple. Where do you see yourself in 2 years? Because I have two questions. So this is the first one. Where do you see yourself in the next 2 years? Um, being that, with the work that you do now, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself still doing the work, part of the campaign? Where does Victwan see himself?
That is a really good question, only because I've been asking myself that question for the last 6 months. Where do you see yourself in that? I have my gay mom down south. When I came out, I went to school in Talladega, Alabama, and I had a whole life down there, a whole gay family. I came out, I went down south in order to be gay, I guess, because my whole family is in New York. So I
Mm-hmm.
went someplace where nobody knew me. So let's see who I am and see how I'm going to be. And I went down south for that. But he always told me that 6 months after you get the position you're in, you need to be looking at your next one. So I've always tried to operate that way. And the position I'm in right now at Care, um, I wrote, I created a couple of years back, not ever thinking that they would actually find a need, but follow through and create the position that God forbid put me in it. Um, so there's no next position, like there's no already set like next step at the company. So I'm guessing I'm gonna have to figure out what I want that to be and write it up. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm fine with doing that. But yeah, like I do see myself doing this work in 2 years. As far as the campaign, I don't know, uh, but I would like to be. I would like to be. I would like to still be doing that work. I would like to see myself as productive as someone like you, or you're ridiculously productive, or even some of the newer models who have taken to this so well.
Yeah.
Some of the other models, especially in Long Island, they've just taken to it so well. Like within a week, they were doing events and stuff. Like when I see myself getting to that point and enjoying the experience a little better.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, in the next 2 years, hopefully I'll be in my next promotion. I would like to get another one. Um, and possibly not doing as much of the volunteer work that I'm doing. Like I'm at my limit for the boards that I'm on. So I
Mhm.
doubt that I'll still be working on them. So that'll give me a lot of free time, which I kind of think I've earned. So I'm not rushing to fill that up with something else yet. I'll still have the campaign and I'll still have work. So that's where I'm at. I'm like, I want to kind of enjoy some of this free time I got coming up, and try to look for opportunities where if I'm contributing my time and energy, I'm important enough that you're willing to pay me for it. So,
So I have another question, but I'm gonna save it until next week because I'm gonna ask all of you folks models that'll be on the show.
okay,
I want it to be a group question.
cool.
Um, but we have like 7 minutes left to the broadcast, and I want to give you the opportunity if you have anything else that you want to share with our viewers before we ask you any other questions, because I don't see any of our viewers asked questions, but I want to go to my co-producer and see if he has any questions. But before I do that, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our viewers? But also, um, let them know if you'd like to, any way they can reach you if they need any kind of help, support, service.
Oh,
The
okay.
floor is yours.
Well, I could be, as far as reaching me, I'm not a social media maven. Like I'm on Facebook. Like I'm 45, dude. Like I'm on Facebook, and that's it. So if you want to reach me on Facebook, my Facebook name is my full government, Victwan Andrew McCorkle. I think I can put it in chat, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put it in the chat before the end of the broadcast. I guess what I didn't talk about, that I kind of want to go over is how I got HIV, because it's a more common story than you think. I was diagnosed in 2003. I got it through sex. I don't know who I got it from because I was pretty prolific back then, and I didn't use condoms. So, like I said, I know how I got it because I was out there, but I don't know who gave it to me. So if I have a message for the people, it's do what I didn't do. Explore safer sex options. I know it may sound annoying and frustrating and foolish, um, but they're out there, and you owe it to yourself to find out what works for you and keeps you safe.
Hmm.
You know, What I do may not be traditional, but it works for me. And I wouldn't have got there if I didn't take the time to figure
Mhm.
out what was going to work for me. I still don't like condoms, but I use them when I have to. I just don't put myself in situations where I feel I need to use a condom. So that's my two bits. Learn what you can. Sex is great. There's nothing wrong with it. Just make sure you're safe.
There you go.
And I don't care what they say. I don't care what they look like. Anyone can have HIV, or in this day and age, the monkeypox.
And not just monkeypox, but anything.
Exactly.
You know, they could even have COVID, honey.
Mm,
So I mean, they could have anything. It's possible, you know. So at the end of the day, I think the biggest message to take away is make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure you get
yes.
yourself tested. Make sure you um, explore a very sex positive, attitude when you are enjoying sex positivity. You know, there's several options out there. There's several forms of condoms and lubricants, but you know ideally when it comes to HIV, ideally there's one, protective measure that you can use, which is a PrEP. But that doesn't protect against other STIs. So, it's like a band-aid for a bigger thing, but we got to take it as it goes because, we're always evolving, medicine is always, advancing. So, maybe there'll be a time period where STIs and HIV and all that stuff that we're dealing with right now won't exist. But you know what? Whether I'm here to see it or not, at least I want to be part of that change, and the part of the education along with, Victwan. So before we end this broadcast, we got 3 minutes left. I have to definitely spin it over and ask my husband, my co-producer, if he has any questions. You got any pressing questions there? He gonna join me on the
Yeah, so
sofa.
I'm going to sit down, guys.
As I said, I love y'all on Facebook. Y'all are so entertaining. I love y'all. Y'all are great. I
Thank
post
you.
everything else I find of y'all.
I mean, well, first of all, it's not really any like questions because you touched so many things. Your positivity about life is like amazing, especially like when you're giving knowledge towards like being in the work field, being able to identify when people are giving you positive insight on how to make yourself better and grow within in your environment, and learning how to take advantage of that and actually really growing in your environment and sharing that, you know sharing your story, that's amazing. So, thank you.
My pleasure. As I told the Shelton at the campaign, I was like, I don't mind talking about me. That's not an issue. You kind of threw me up asking me about my family, but that's okay. That's okay. I think they'll be all. I don't think I have to worry about anything when I go to Philly or Staten Island. I'll be all right. I think I'll be all right.
No, because the thing about Sofa Chat is for our viewers to not just when it started out, it was to get to know just the spokesmodels, and for us just have a platform to kind of like hang out with each other while people got to see how we live our lives, right? And little things we do to engage with each other. Um, but then relaunching Sofa Chat for season 2 has taken it in a different direction where I just didn't want individuals to get to know the spokesmodels. I wanted them to kind of engage with a broader audience, a broader diversity of guests on the show that weren't just spokesmodels that may or may not choose to divulge their status of being HIV positive or choose to divulge their gender identity, right? Um, but we thank you for taking the opportunity to come join us on Sofa Chat. I'm looking forward to you being a guest on the show next Sunday. So that's a spoiler. You see, Victwan already let y'all know he's gonna be in the building. Um,
In the building.
so
You don't have to be
definitely,
in the audience. I'm gonna be there.
see, there you go. He's gonna be with us. So definitely request your tickets and definitely come be a part of the audience. Victwan, don't go nowhere. I'm just gonna end the broadcast in a minute, and I gotta do my closings. But stay on. Just mute yourself.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you guys. So we are at our 7 o'clock mark. I want to thank everybody for joining, for being a part of the, live stream. I'm gonna go over like a minute or two, so please bear with me. I might get a little emotional. I doubt it. I'm trying to hold it together, but This is our live broadcast, our last broadcast from our in-home studio. We've brought you guys in our home every single Sunday. This is a separate room in our home that we've designed and renovated just to be an in-home studio so that we can come to you guys and bring you some amazing content. Um, Thank you for all of you viewers, that have joined us. We look forward to you guys joining us for the last live broadcast and in studio audience next Sunday. Please come out. Please request your tickets. Share the information. If you can't make it, share it. Share it. It costs nothing to share it. The tickets are all free. There will be some amazing, guests on the panel joining us in different segments. So we appreciate all of our guests. We appreciate all of you that have continued to log in and share and just participate. I guess I don't have anything pressing other than that to tell you guys, other than we hope to see you live and in person at the Wow Cafe next Sunday, July 24th, for our last episode of Sofa Chat Season 2. As I tell you guys every single Sunday, if you ain't got a mirror, I'm going to need you to take out your phone, do it on selfie mode. Tell yourself that you matter. You are important. You are valuable. You know why? Because if you don't love yourself, who else is going to love you but you? Let's do some self-help. Have a great week, y'all. We hope to see you guys next Sunday in person. But if not,
please. Yes.
You gotta
You
share.
must not just share, but you must register. Please don't just show up. I know, you heard where it's going to be, the location and stuff like that, but this is by registering. You need to register so that we have an accurate head count. There is, how would you say,
the limited capacity in the theater, especially due to COVID measures and for safety measures. We ask that everyone that is choosing to join us, this is a little bit of info. It is also on the website when you go to request your tickets. But we ask that everybody, please, if you are vaccinated, okay, please bring proof of vaccination. It doesn't have to be the card. It can be on your phone. We know that, things are much better. But if you are not vaccinated and you would like to participate and come, we just ask that you have a negative COVID test that has been performed within 24 hours of you coming to the live broadcast on July 24th, right? But regardless of all of those things, we are requiring everybody to be in a mask for the entire broadcast unless you are part of one of these segments. And during the segment, yes, the guests will be without a mask. But during the time that they are not, everybody in the in-studio audience will be wearing a mask. And that is also including staff. We have security and everything on staff to protect yourselves, but protect ourselves as well. So if there's nothing else you got, we good?
No, that's it. I just wanted people to be aware. I don't want people to just show up because they heard of the location and stuff like that. If you're in the New York area, you're more than welcome to show up, but you must go through the Eventbrite and register yourself.
And the tickets are free.
So it's not saying you can't come. Just we want to make sure that you are accounted for. And if you haven't registered, you're not coming in. So.
Yeah. So have a great week, y'all. Turn your negatives into a positive. And we'll see you guys on Sunday for the last episode, our 2-hour episode of season 2 of Sofa Chat.
Yes.
Have a great week, y'all.